Hello everybody, this is Roller from Winter Bros. In this module of the Scripting Made Simple videos series, we're going to cover some of the tools that are available to make debugging errors in your code easier to find so that your final products are going to work as you expect them to. The first thing we're going to discuss is how to find your way around your code. Daz Studio implements what we like to call position locators within your Daz Scripting inside the IDE by the use of line numbers for each line of code and column numbers for each character within that line of code. Most of the time you're going to ignore the line and column numbers that are shown in the IDE, and we'll demonstrate that for you now, but they are very important to the debugging process for your code. So far we've only explored scripting with a bit of code called a one-liner, like the Hello World example, but as you can see in this demonstration we've loaded here, Daz Studio Scripting can provide a lot of functionality, and a lot of that stuff's going to have a lot of lines of code to make that happen. If you look closely here at the bottom, you'll see that there's an LN with a 26 down here at the bottom and a COL with a 0. That is the line and column of the current cursor position. So if we click up here, you can see, you probably can't see it. Let me see if we can flash in. There it is. It shows it right here. Now we'll go ahead and use our arrow keys on the keyboard. We'll move this around and you'll see it went down to line 27, 28, 29, and such forth. And if you go into it, it counts each character as a column position. So it may not exactly be lined up. You can see here if we go to the right, we jumped over a tab character. So it looks like more than one character, but it was really one. So it's column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As we go to the right, you can see that. At first glance, the line and column indicators may not seem too obviously important, but as you start to develop your code and run into errors, these locators are going to help you to find your faulty code within what you've written. There's going to be an error report if you have an error in your code when you run it, and it'll also identify which line of code where it thinks the error is located at. And there are occasions where the reported location may not be exactly where the error is located, but it's going to be close, and we're going to demonstrate that here in just a second. Here we return back to Daz Studio 4.9, and what we're going to do is we're going to insert an intentional error at the end of line 26. So we'll go ahead and click up here, and we're just going to put the letters CCC at the end, and then we're going to try to run that, and we're going to see what happens. So we'll go up here to the menu, we'll do File, Run Script, and you can see now something popped up down here at the bottom below the ID, inside the ID in this panel, and it was actually the error code that was reported. And you can see here from this error report, it says that the script error right here was on line 28. Of course, we know we put it on line 26, and that's fine. But if you keep reading down, you'll see this reference error, and it contains says it can't find the variable CCC, which is the characters we've actually typed up there. So the error wasn't really on line 28, it was on 26, but the compiler didn't recognize it until it got to line 28, and that's why we said sometimes the error reporting will be close to where your error is at. It may not be exactly the line that it's on. So this would be a good time to introduce you to the log file and the print functions within the Daz Studio and the IDE. Basically, the log file is part of the Daz Studio, and it tracks all the system events and other items that are happening within Daz Studio while you're using it. Inside the IDE, there actually is a print function that you can use to output data from your code, and it'll output it to the log file as well as the screen at the bottom of the IDE. And also any of the reported errors that your scripts contain will be registered into the log file as well. So we'll return to Daz Studio and show you where to find the log file. To find the log file, you just go up here to the Help menu. You go down here to Troubleshooting, and you'll see the View Log File right here. And when you click it, your system will bring up the log file in whatever your text editor is, default editor of your system. All the most recent entries are at the bottom of the log file. So we're going to scroll down to the bottom really quick, and you can see here we have that script error in here for line 28. Couldn't find the variable CCC. We'll open this up a little bit. There it is. Here's all the stuff that happened. It came up in that panel at the bottom ID when we tried to run that script with that intentional error within it. So if you have multiple errors or you lost track of where your error is, you can always just open up the log file. You can do a real quick search on script space error or whatever, maybe the word warning, whatever search term you want to use within a log file, and you can find out what that scripting error was, just in case you forget it. We will cover the print function a little bit later on in a different volume of this Scripting Made Simple series. Just wanted you to know for now that how the log file works, and then when we do get to the print function later on, you'll understand where the log file is located. I'm going to wrap up this module by showing you how you can put notes and references within your Daz Studio scripting code. To do this, you'll use comments within your code, and we're going to demonstrate that here in a second. But basically, there are two types of ways of doing this. You get a singular or single line commenting, and then we have the multi-line commenting. As you can see here, we've loaded back up our Hello World script that we wrote earlier. And you can see Daz Studio by default already put a single line comment at the top, and single line comments will begin with the 2 forward slashes, and what it does is basically anything after the 2 forward slashes on that line are ignored by Daz Studio until the end of the line. So you can actually use it to make a single line comment like this. It's all on its own line, line 1, or you can also use it at the end of a line. And anything from that point to the end of the line will be ignored. So we'll just say like, let's just not important. So we'll go ahead and run this code, and you'll see that it's not important is going to be ignored. We'll go ahead and run the script, and there we got our Hello World pop up again. It ignored from here to the end of the line, which was nothing of consequence. So you can see you can make a complete singular line comment, or you can actually put something at the end of the line and it ignores everything from the double forward slash to the end of the line. Now I know this is a simple bit of code here, but sometimes you might want to put something in there that takes a lot more room, and it's going to be a couple lines. So if you want to contain some notes or some references inside your code, which is very important because later on you may forget why you wrote something in there, you would begin it with the forward slash and the asterisks, and you can just start typing. This code was written by Rollo for use in the Scripting Made Simple video series. And then when you want to end it, you would end it with the, just to go to reverse, you would do the asterisk and then the forward slash, and that encapsulates everything between the first forward slash and the asterisk and the last forward slash. So we'll just go ahead and run this code again real quick just to demonstrate that it hasn't affected in any way. And you see there we got our pop-up again. And what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and move this from below there, and we'll push it up into the top here. There you go, and we'll run the script one more time just to show that it's all encapsulated and ignored by the compiler. There we got our Daz Studio Hello World again. So you can see the importance of having commenting within your code, like that demonstration showed you earlier of that really long, a bunch of lines in that one set of code we demonstrated with. Comments can be very, very important. So you should comment your code as well as you need to. If something is very obvious, like this message box that pops up the hello world, may not need a comment on it, but when you get into looping later on and variables and a lot of the control functions, you're going to find that commenting is a very important tool to use. This wraps up our module on debugging tools within the Daz Studio Scripting IDE, and we hope that you learned something from it. Reference the PDF or return to this video if you need to make your scripting code a lot easier.